People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Good evening to you, wherever you are, whoever you are, and I hope you're all doing well and safe. Now, in a couple, I can't remember what video specifically, but one of my videos that came out today, if you didn't know already, we knew that the relevant football governing bodies within this country were going to meet again, and movements are going to be made elsewhere. Like I've seen the MLS have extended their ban. Apologies people, working from home, have to have the emails on in case a mad thing happens, but yeah, people, obviously other things are happening here in England or in British football. You've seen it's been extended to the 30th of April now. Previously it was the 3rd. We still got small hope for continuing football in the May to June period, people. We'll see and cross that bridge when it comes, sort of thing. And you've seen Arsenal come out with a statement and relay information we kind of have been fed via different outlets. Arteta's progressing. Obviously we've had a deep cleanse of Hale End and London Coley, and I believe the Emirates as well, after all are shut. Highbury House, which is the office where a lot of the admin work and other work gets done at Arsenal, has been shut. Obviously they more or less relayed the same information I've just said about the Premier League and other useful sound bites. Go and check it out on arsenal.com. I think I even saw Man United have their own statement, and you could imagine all the teams in the Premier League and below that are going to bring out their own individual stuff and whatnot. It's a terrible time. There isn't much anybody can do. No, few people could have seen this coming unless you're in the know or, them things there. It's gripping the nation. It's stressing us economically. Like over in England, again, they've cut interest rates. I believe this morning Australia did the same. Obviously, previously America has. I think Canada's Bank of Canada governor has remained defiant, but I can't know that for a fact. So not only are people feeling the pinch because they're losing jobs, they face the prospect of their investments or their savings, just their savings. They really could lose investments, but their savings not really giving them anything back in terms of that. And you're just looking at the mortgage market now, and I know there's been a lot of suspensions, and I'm no financial expert or no economist, but we have kind of been in an economic downturn for a while now. And the coronavirus has more or less, I'd say, brought everything to the front, but also stressing us as well. But we're going off topic, people. Either way, it's gripping the nation. Football mirrors society. It's preventing everybody from simply kicking football again. And we're starved of football. We're begging for football, as you guys know, people. Moving away from that, our newly signed left back, or relatively new left back in Kieran Tierney, who's had a tough time with injuries, he has said, he's offered some sound bites in regards to just his time at Arsenal, I guess, with the injury. He said, "The night at West Ham away was a hard night for me. I knew I dislocated my shoulder. Being injured at the start of my Arsenal career was hard. Mentally, it was probably the toughest time of my life." So he's left Celtic. He's grown up there a boy. He's leaving Scotland as a man. He's coming to London. He's a 22-year-old. Again, I don't know the scale of his move away from football. Is he coming with his girlfriend? Is he coming with his family? I don't know specifically where he grew up in Scotland, but is London a bit of a culture shock to him because he's a new club, new country? Fair enough, Scotland's around the corner more or less. But it's a new club, new environment. He might have to cook for himself and all of these things again, and living by himself. And yeah, man. And obviously, he's coming to Arsenal with the challenge of Premier League football, trying to get into the Champions League. He's not been able to play more or less with injuries, and he must be thinking to a degree, woe is me, I'm kind of hard done by to a degree with these injuries. But he held it up. What doesn't kill you brings you back, makes you stronger, and it's lovely to see he's on the mend. But it's, out of adversity comes bright moments. And listen, this season's been a write-off for him. He's only 22. So with that being said, he can still be here for a good 10, or I'm not naive, I don't think he's going to be here for 10 years, but we'd love to see Kieran Tierney be a hallmark of this club for 10 years or a significant period of time. He's of the right age with Leno, with Saliba. If we bring in another centre-half, we've got a good, again, I'm not, there's question marks over Bellerin, but today, happy birthday Bellerin, he's only 25, so we've got time on our side and time for really Arteta to be given some tools to build his defence for the future, because in terms of longevity, the Tierneys, the Lenos, the Salibas, these are people you want to make the bulk of your back four long term. Obviously, we've got other defenders, they're defenders, but midfielders that are of a similar age. Would you just shut the fuck up? Apologies, people. But you get the point. And for me, I'm happy with Tierney. You haven't got to see too much, but I like his mentality. I like how he gets forward. I like his crossing. I think he's a good addition and he's going to be a good player for us. But he hasn't been given the opportunity. But moving on, he said, watching from the sidelines is never easy, but you need to just take every position out of it that you can. I'll be watching who's playing in my position, who I'll be playing against, and how the team are playing. And naturally, you want to get back. You hear he's training again, but he needs to earn his spot again. For me, Tierney is the first choice left back, and Saka can move further forward. But right now, it's Saka's shirt, so he's got to fight him for that shirt. And that's a big... Again, Arsenal not where Arsenal used to be in comparison to Celtic, but he's probably come here for more of a challenge to fight for your spot. And on paper right now, we don't know what's going to happen with Collage, and we don't actually know what's going to happen with Saka based on his contract. But there's 3 men fighting for one position. On one hand, you could say there's a bit too many players on the books. But on the other hand, competition is good. And Arteta, not directly about left back, but he's more or less once said, in for want of better words, he wants 2 or 3 to fight for every position, and it is what it is in that regards. So it's lovely to see that hunger, and if everybody's hungry to play and takes their chances, it makes us a better team, and it gives Arteta more of a headache. Do I start Saka? Do I start Tierney? What do I do at right back? Do you get it? What do I do at the centre of the park? What do I do in midfield? Do you get it, people? Complicate matters. He's also gone on to say, all the gym stuff I am doing are the physical qualities I'm going to need when I'm back playing. So everything I do is game specific. It's related to what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a lot of running, high speed running, which related to doing overlaps. Obviously, the position he plays, playing at fullback, he's naturally going to have to bomb inside and get forward people and get up and down that field more or less. And you know, it makes sense. He needs to. Maybe not so much because it's a shoulder injury, but from sheerly not playing, how much match fitness has he got? How much ring rust does he have? Sort of thing. Is he going to play for the under-23s if we get back playing a couple of times like he did with his last injury? I don't know. But we need everybody, because if we do continue this Premier League season, whenever it is, to have any little half a chance of top 4 people, every player has got to be consistent. Every player has to show desire. Every player has to want to die to win. And I get that from Tierney. I don't necessarily get that from everybody. Generally, Arteta, we've turned a corner, but you get the point. Moving away from that, he says, I'll go to the gym and do deadlifts and squats to make me more powerful. Telling me to do that in a game for 90 minutes. It's really high intensity. A lot of demands for your body, and the training I'm doing in the gym is going to set me up perfectly for when I return. So he's already spoken about doing a lot of specific work aimed at, his position and how dynamic he has to be up and down that field. He's spoken about adding more power into his game with the deadlifts and squats and just overall gym work. And he said, it's never ideal to be on the sidelines watching, but I just want the team to win. I want the team to be successful. Everybody loves going out and playing football, but to be mentally tough and deal with all these obstacles and people thrown at you, I think that's the quotes, doesn't make sense, but let's just assume it means all the obstacles people throw at you. It's the hardest part, and he's from Scotland. He's definitely mentally tough and whatnot, people. And it's lovely to hear that, because you want to see Tierney get a run of games or be eligible and fit enough to fight for the opportunity to get a run of games, people, really and truly. Away from that though, and in kind of following on from the whole corona business, last night I did see via the Daily Mail, make of it which you will, an increasing number of Premier League clubs are lobbying for a cut-off date at which a decision will be made on whether to abandon attempts to play outstanding matches. There's a strong belief that playing any football after June the 30th, when some players' contracts expired, could prove to be almost impossible. Top 5 clubs will meet on Thursday morning via video conference. Obviously, it went on to say the date's expected to be pushed back, which you've seen. Are we going to keep pushing it back and then have to, make a resolution? To be fair to the Premier League, and we're always critical of them, but it's stick or twist. Like I do think we took long to act, and Wayne Rooney was right in criticising every footballing organisation for treating them like guinea pigs. But what can they do with the information they've got presented? Not just them, but almost any business, really and truly. It's a difficult, tough climate, really, people. Cracking on from that, and you know we all want Thomas Partey of Atletico Madrid to come to Arsenal, more so if you saw him play against Liverpool. I mean, if we just go based on Champions League action, Upamecano and him need to arrive to Arsenal. Whether that can happen, we don't know. We hear his release clause is anything to the 40 odd million euros sort of thing. I don't know that to be fact. We know Atletico want him to sign a new deal. Apparently they're aiming to raise his release clause to 100 million, obviously with the speculation with United and Arsenal. They're looking to extend his deal to 2025, which would be a 5-year deal for the 24-year-old, taking him past his prime and whatnot, and raise his release clause to 100 million, which would be 93 million, million pounds. So maybe that will be enough to put teams off, because it will definitely be unattainable for Arsenal to spend for him. You know, we clearly prove we'll only do that if it's a striker or a winger and whatnot. In Pepe's case, we've shown we won't spend 50-60 on a quality centre-half, and maybe someone who, don't get it wrong, Thomas Partey's got lovely, you know, he's a baller, he can play football, and he's not a defensive mid, but for me he's more like his strengths, box to box. Just be a nuisance, carry the ball up the field, and you know, do things like that and break down play as well, even though he's not a DM. So I don't think we'll pay that sort of money. But I'd love him for Atletico, of course, with the interest and whatnot. It protects their asset, especially if they want him to remain at the club. Apologies for kicking that. So we'll have to see what that one's saying. Tired of the Aubameyang nonsense, people, but I feel a duty to mention everything I've come across. Barcelona, Manchester United and PSG are all keeping tabs on the Aubameyang situation. The trio believe Aubameyang can be prized away for 35 million this summer. Make of that what you will, people. Please do not shoot the messenger, because I didn't see it. I didn't say it, sorry people. I'm just purely relaying what I'm literally reading. Trying to browse and see if I see anything else for you guys, which I currently don't. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. People, Deluded. Thank you for always watching, rocking and supporting my thing. I'm out.